Hello everyone, this is Dr. Aditya Gupta. So now, whether you are a NEET UG aspirant or a PG aspirant, so PG exam, NEET PG is on March and UG is in May. This is the time for revision. So the video is about what are the revision mistakes you'll make. I have made them. Everyone makes them. You should not. That's why the video, right? So I think the single biggest mistake, the first mistake that I'm going to talk about, there are three major mistakes that I'll be talking about this in video. The single biggest mistake every one of us makes is that we tend to confuse that revision is rereading. This is absolutely bonkers. This is absolutely crazy, frankly. Revision does not mean that you're rereading the same thing again and again and again. That is not what revision is. Let's be very, very clear about that. All right. Because that is the reason why a lot of people are not able to revise, because you did the first reading, let's say you did everything together for the first time in 6 months or 1 year, 1.5 year. Now you're like, okay, now if we read the same stuff again, somehow it has to be done in 1/4 the time or half the time. No, it won't be possible. Obviously, it won't be possible. Because you are rereading the entire stuff, you won't be able to do it. Rereading is not equal to revision. The purpose of revision is to ensure whatever you have read in the first go and try to remember at that point of time, you retain it. So how do you revise? For example, for a NEET UG student, you have read the biotechnology, let's say, chapter. You have already practiced as MCQs. You have already given some mock test or some unit-based test in your coaching institute. If now you have to revise a biotechnology chapter, you cannot be like, I'll open up the NCERT again. I'll start to read from number one each and every word again. You have done that type of reading already. Now, the simple way to revise it quickly and fast is simply doing the MCQs related to the chapter. Take any app. I have an app. Every YouTuber, I'll say, has a NCERT based app. You have your own multiple books, I would say, who have NCERT based MCQs. But anything that has MCQs, NCERT based MCQs and previous year questions, solve those previous year questions, solve those NCERT based MCQs, see what you don't remember right now. Then read that particular thing from NCERT and then a quick reading. Not that every line I'm taking, every line I'm spending 10 minutes on that line. No, a quick reading of the entire chapter and that's it. Even if you're rereading stuff, it has to be quick reading. In Hindi, I would say, आंखों के सामने से एक तरीके से निकालना है. It's not that you have to emphasize each and every word from now. Revision does not equal rereading, the in-depth reading. If you again start to do in-depth reading, again it will take that much of time. Same for NEET PG aspirants. Let's say you have done you have a really good subject, let's say psychiatry. Psychiatry, the actual notes will be like 200 or 300 pages. If you again start to read 200, 300 pages, it will take 2-3 days. You can revise psychiatry in 6 or 7 hours. Let me be very clear about that. How? Very simple. Whichever app you have Maro, you have PrepLadder, you have, let's say, Reflex. Go to that app, make some module of previous year question, solve the 100, there are around 150, in the past 10 years, as far as psychiatry is concerned, there won't be more than 100 or maybe 200 odd questions, 5 questions per exam, right? So 100 to 100 questions, solve those 100 questions, solve those MCQs. You'll get 50% of them correct. I'll be 100%. If you've done the first reading properly, you'll get 50% correct. Remaining 50%, you don't correct. See the explanation, go through your notes. Again, quick reading of those notes and done. You have revised psychiatry. That's how you have to do multiple revisions again and again. You cannot go through again reading the entire set of notes. For a NEET PG aspirant, let me tell you, if let's say you have used Maro or PrepLadder, do you really think you can go to 2000 pages of medicine again? You can't. Solve medicine previous year questions. See what you have gotten correct, what you haven't gotten correct. Read from your notes. Again, a quick reading. And that's it. You have revised that particular subject. That's how the reading has to be done. If you wanted to reread, because some people cannot revise without rereading, then in the first go itself, you should have created something concise. A lot of people cannot do this retrograde method of revision, which is the reason I end up suggesting First Aid, which is the reason I end up suggesting that whatever platform you're using, you should either concise your notes or use BTR or use First Aid or create your own concise notes. I created my own concise notes. A lot of people use BTR. A lot of people use First Aid. I could not revise few of the subjects. I myself use First Aid. So that is the reason for making concise notes as far as PG is concerned, that a revision becomes important. You cannot revise the main set of notes, again go through those each and every line. Not of those lines are important, also not. Previous year question, important stuff is covered. Whatever you don't know, you read that part and you move on. Revision is not rereading. Single biggest mistake. I have also done it. I don't want you guys to make it. The second mistake everyone does is that when the time for revision comes, you will start having FOMO. In the initial read, you don't have FOMO because you are doing a bit of an extensive read. But now you'll start to have FOMO. FOMO of either, I've talked about FOMO, either it can be an in vitro FOMO or it can be a ex vitro FOMO or ex vivo FOMO, whatever you want to call it. The ex vitro FOMO is that you already have a set of notes. For example, this is a message I got. Sir, I have compiled my PTR, I've compiled test and discussion notes of Bhatia, and have solved my previous year questions properly. Now, obviously, you have to revise this again. You already have a concise set of notes. But I'm getting now FOMO that I should do DVT or vibe. Obviously, nahi karna yaar. This is a very simple answer to this question. You do not need to do. Kam padho, bar bar padho. She already has that kam padne wala, like, the concise, high yield material available with her. Why do you need to do DVT or vibes at this point of time? You don't need to. Alright. This FOMO is going to affect a lot of students right now. And coaching institutes capitalize on that. That's perfectly fine. Some people can actually, for some people it might be beneficial if you have not read anything, frankly. Then maybe doing that might be beneficial or you're like literally sucking at revision. But in her particular case, that this message which I actually got, she already had concise set of notes. Why should she need to do DVT or vibes at this point of time? This FOMO is going to affect every aspirant, right? Similarly, for NEET UG aspirants, you will get FOMO that I've mastered my NCERT, let's say. मैं नॉन एनसीईआरटी पढ़ना शुरू कर देता हूँ. वो एक दो क्वेश्चन जो आते हैं आउटसाइड एनसीईआरटी वो भी सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करने लगा. सी इफ यू सॉल्व प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन तो वो दो एक तो आउटसाइड एनसीईआरटी क्वेश्चन भी सॉल्व हो जाते हैं फ्रैंकली. बट लॉट ऑफ पीपल विल स्टार्ट टू गो इन डेप्थ विद देयर आकाश और एलन मॉड्यूल्स. ये फोमो में नहीं आना. एंड द थर्ड मेजर मिस्टेक पीपल टेंड टू डू स्पेसिफिकली फॉर नीट यूजी इसकी वो दे टेंड टू स्टिक टू थ्योरी रीडिंग फॉर फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री. भाई रिवीजन के टाइम पे तुम्हें थ्योरी थोड़ी ना पढ़नी है. एग्जाम तो एमसीक्यू है. एग्जाम इज अ न्यूमेरिकल एग्जाम, राइट? सो रिवीजन ऑफ फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री ऑल्सो शुड बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ न्यूमेरिकल्स. Let's say you want to revise thermodynamics today, solve 20, 30, 50 MCQs of thermodynamics. The MCQs you're not able to get, the MCQs you're not able to solve, then go back, see concepts. Okay, this was the formula that I'm forgetting. Ideally, you should also have a formula notebook with you. Before starting a chapter solving MCQ, just see the formula, then start solving the MCQs. But if you do not have that, solve MCQs, see concept, then again solve those MCQs, reapply that theoretical concept. Don't again get in the format कि मैं पूरे theory के notes पढ़ूंगा फिर बैठ के MCQ करूंगा. Again, you'll be wasting time only. And a very word of advice from you, every day, since exam is going to be a numerical exam, right? You should now be in a habit कि मैं daily 20 to 30, ideally 50 MCQs, MCQ by mean numerical MCQs of physics and chemistry solve करने वाला हूँ. So that your brain is primed that every day मेरे को कुछ numerical solve करने हैं. It will not take more than half an hour to 1 hour if you're fast enough in it. Basically 20 MCQs solve. Physics में 45 MCQs के लिए 1 घंटा करना है ना, तो half an hour, 20 to 30 numericals you should solve on a daily basis. It will keep, it will improve your efficacy of MCQs as well. Then another very common question that I have, so I wanted to address that कि सर मैंने मैरो पढ़ा, मैंने मैरो ढंग से पढ़ा, मैंने मैरो के सारे नोट्स ढंग से पढ़े, अब मैं रिविजन के टाइम पे तुम वही गलती करोगे, रीडिंग करने वाली गलती करोगे. अब मेरे से रिवाइज नहीं हो रहा. क्यों नहीं रिवाइज हो रहा? बिकॉज यू आर ट्राइंग टू डू द रीडिंग ऑफ दोज नोट्स. वो नहीं हो पाएगी. वो तो बहुत पहले सब लोग बोल रहे हैं कि उन नोट्स को कंसाइज करना है तुम्हें. अगर कंसाइज किया होगा तो उन नोट्स की तुम रीडिंग कर सकते हो. बट यू कैन नॉट डू द रीडिंग ऑफ द ओरिजिनल मैरो नोट्स बिकॉज दे आर मेड फ्रॉम एमबीबीएस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. दे आर नॉट मेड फ्रॉम an entrance point of view. For you guys, I would suggest, hopefully you would have done previous year questions till now. If you have not, then simply take a subject, solve the previous year questions properly, solve them in an MCQ-based format. By solving previous year question, I do not mean that you solve a previous year question, see the theory, read it in a theory-based manner. No, solve it like an exam, see what topics are important. You will have rapid revision notes and revision notes, see what is covered in that, add to that, and that's about it. This simply ये करने से भी 5 से 10 हज़ार रैंक आ जाती है. Since you have already done a really good reading of the notes, your baseline knowledge will then propel that rank to 1000 or 2000. So don't worry. All right. From now on, solve previous year questions thoroughly. See the revision videos. Do not see the revision videos if you already saw in the main videos, but see the revision notes. And एक बार वो theory वाली read और MCQ practice भी simultaneously होगी for those, and then you can easily give the exam. तो इससे डरना नहीं है. Right? The main thing, 2 major mistakes. Don't get into the rereading habit and don't get into the FOMO habit. Already concise notes हैं तो कुछ और किसी प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर भागना नहीं है. ठीक है? और अगर तुम ऑलरेडी तुम्हारे पास रीरीडिंग नहीं करनी, अगर ऑलरेडी कंसाइज नोट्स हैं और बड़े नोट्स हैं तो उनकी रीरीडिंग करने के हैबिट में नहीं आना है. MCQ सॉल्व करने हैं. एग्जाम MCQ है, थ्योरी नहीं है. ठीक है? सॉल्व 50 to 100 MCQs ऑन अ डेली बेसिस. रिविजन भी होती रहेगी, MCQ प्रैक्टिस भी होती रहेगी, MCQ में तुक्के मारने की आदत भी बढ़ जाएगी. Right? So this is my video for today, that revision mistake which everyone does. I'll make a video tomorrow on how to do retrograde revision. Retrograde revision is the most fastest form of revision, and around 50% of the syllabus can easily be done with retrograde revision, which is basically this only, which I've already talked about, a bit more depth into that. Alright, so stay tuned for that. Thank you and have a nice day.